Hey, good morning or afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to day 4 of Painkillers Challenge. We want to get rid of and kill your chronic pain. Today is all about moving. Now, before you freak out at me and say, I can't move, Sharon, you don't understand, know that I totally get you. I feel the exact same way sometimes. Some days, this morning, for example, which is why I had this awesome hairdo, I couldn't hardly move. And I have created this whole little morning ritual that helps me to get moving in the morning. And I'll share pieces of that. I've already shared a couple pieces with that with you, but I'll share the rest of the pieces of that over this 30-day challenge period because I figure if it works for me, it could probably help you too. So when I think about moving, I tell myself, do what you can and a little bit more. So for example, when I go for a walk to the state park, I like to walk. I like to exercise every day now. I didn't ever exercise at all in my previous life or when I was younger. I was busy doing other things that I thought were more important and I wasn't taking care of myself. So when I had a big health challenge and a bigger health event, if you can believe that, there are bigger health events than we can ever imagine that come into our lives to teach us something. I decided I was going to exercise every day. And one of the ways I exercise, the primary way I personally exercise, is walking because I can do it. It's easy. It doesn't require any special equipment, and it gets pretty much all of the joints in my body moving. My particular chronic pain comes from arthritis. So I've learned, even though it hurts sometimes, the more I move, the more I work particular joints in my body, the better they will feel. They'll hurt a little bit more as I start out, but then after I've moved and stretched them out and done things for a little while, they start to feel good and they start to feel better, and I actually get pain relief from that. So, our natural tendency is when we're in pain is to clench up and tighten everything, and that actually makes the pain worse. That makes our experience of the pain worse. So moving is what we're talking about today. And I don't want you to go out and do anything dramatic or drastic or over the top, like say you're going to exercise every day for a year, because that will get your family to freak out at you. But you need to start slowly and move and do what you can and a little bit more. So, for example, this morning I was feeling really, really tight and achy, and I didn't want to get out of bed. So what I started doing was I do my breathing like we talked about on day 1. I think about the things I'm grateful for like we talked about yesterday. And then I just start testing the waters. I stretch my legs. I stretch my feet. I move my hips a little bit and my shoulders and my neck. And I try to figure out, okay, what's working? What's not working? What do I need to give a little more time and put a little more work into to get it moving? And then I find once I have stretched everything out and I get up and move, usually I go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, I start to feel better and better and better. So when I say move, I'm not going to challenge you to do something that you're not at all comfortable with. I'm not going to say do burpees, because burpees are not my thing, or to do anything that could hurt you, but you need to be willing to stretch yourself and try and put a little effort towards something if you want to feel better. And moving no matter what. And to be honest, there've been some days in my past 35 years that I couldn't get out of bed, that I couldn't move. But then what I did is I would just imagine, I would lay and I would imagine myself moving and feeling terrific and doing things that I could do, which all involved getting out of bed and moving. And then the next time I wanted to try to do that, it was much easier because even though I didn't actually move, I actually imagined what it was like to move and how good it felt and how easy it was and how freeing. And that actually made it so that when I could get out of bed, I could move more freely and I could move easier. So the other thing I want to really just touch base about is the importance of not comparing yourself to anyone else. You only ever compare yourself to you. If I compare myself to normal people or other people or anyone else, I'm setting myself up for frustration and failure because I don't run. I don't exercise like most people would define exercise. I do something every day, but to me, it's like a walk in the park, or it's riding my exercise bike, or maybe it's doing yoga with my daughter. But most people would say, well, that's not even exercise. You know, a normal person would judge and compare themselves and say, you know, I'm way better than you because I can go to the club and work out for an hour. Well, that's why it's so important to never compare ourselves to others, because they don't live in our skin. They don't live in our bodies. And I know if you've had chronic pain for any period of time like me, you do that. You try to compare yourself to others and wish that you were just normal and could just do things as easily and effortlessly as other people appear to be doing things. But remember, we're not living in their skin just like they're not living in ours. And we don't really know what's going on with them and how much effort it really takes them to move forward or to do anything. And so again, don't ever compare yourself to others. It's just not worth the effort. So today for our challenge, I want to challenge you to share in the comments below as your assignment, how did you move today? How did you actually put this movement idea into action in your life? What did you do? And maybe it's just you visualized in bed getting up and walking to the kitchen for a glass of water because you can't get out of bed and walk to the kitchen for a glass of water. Maybe it's you went for a walk in the park and you walked for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and even though it hurt really bad and you wanted to quit for the whole first 10 minutes of that, once you got to the 10-minute mark, you're like, oh, I'm halfway there, so I know I can finish this and I can get back and I can do my whole 20-minute walk. I actually used to do that a lot, and I still do that a lot. When I go for my walks in the park, I decide ahead of time what trail or what path I'm going to go on based on kind of gauging how I'm feeling and how my pain is for that day. And what I do is I psych myself up the whole way to the halfway point of that walk. And then once I get to the halfway point, well, I know I have to go back to where I came from. And so there's no quitting. There's no way to stop because I'm already halfway there. And so then I'm telling myself, hey, you're already halfway there. You're almost, you're over halfway. It's going to be easy to finish this. And that's how I do a little bit more. And so figure out something that works for you to move and then do a little bit more. And then that's your assignment for today. We will chat tomorrow. I thought tomorrow's was today, so I'm all excited about tomorrow's topic. But that's it. Go out, try this, do it, and share what works for you and what doesn't. And again, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just compare yourself to you. If all I can do is stretch and raise my hands today and that's my movement, that's awesome. It's whatever works for you. Awesome. See you tomorrow. Bye.